No matter what, we need to be happy. Respected colleagues at Government First Grade College, Kaur, teachers, chartered accountants, and student participants, thank you for being a part of our endeavor of this 2 days International WebCon on enhancing happiness quotient in the age of technology. I'm very happy to state that we have teachers, chartered accountants, and students who have joined us from 11 states and 2 different countries apart from India in this International WebCon. With great pleasure, I would like to say that this process of enhancing teachers' capability, enhancing the capability of the general public in these times of stress is very, very important from our point of view. When we were thinking about which topic that we need to choose for our WebCon, we thought, I think one thing that is missing on in everyone's life today is happiness. And we thought we talk about intelligent quotient, we talk about spirituality quotient, but one thing that we miss out on more so is emotional quotient. And happiness concept is one aspect in the EQ. So we will be having a session on EQ as well, and that will be handled by a resource person who is very well qualified in that particular area. Also, I would like to acknowledge our speakers, resourceful speakers who are going to join us from different countries. We already have our keynote speaker, Ms. Janice, right here with us. Very soon, we will be joined by Mr. Charles Thompson from Australia. In the evening, we are going to have a session from Wen Jeshe Tenzing Gyamcho on a beautiful topic, the Buddhist perspective of happiness. Tomorrow morning, we have another session at 9:30. The resourceful speaker is my classmate, Mrs. Rina Aslino, and she'll be speaking on the topic, the power of collaboration, a key to happiness in the corporate world. And in the evening, we will have, being mindful, enhancing our life in this new age by a young clinical psychologist, Ms. Raina De Mello. So these are our resourceful speakers, which we have lined up for this 2 days International WebCon. Before we begin this day, I would like to, share the principal's message right now. So. Thank you, dear principal, for that lovely message. It's time for me to introduce a young Turk, a very good friend of mine, for her keynote address. And she is basically from Mangalore, and definitely, she has a lot to offer. She started as a young teacher at St. Aloysius College, Mangalore, in the Department of Chemistry. Miss Janice Jean Govius, she is with us. She is currently a postdoctoral Department on Science and Technology and Innovation Policy Fellow hosted at the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. Her research area involves engendering women science diplomats through India's science policy. Prior to this, she had a brief stint as a research consultant for the Science Diplomacy Program at the National Institute of Advanced Studies, Bengaluru. As I mentioned earlier, she also has a vast teaching experience of 9 years as an assistant professor of chemistry at St. Aloysius College, Autonomous, Mangalore. She is also an amateur popular science writer. As she has a master's degree in analytical chemistry, and for a PhD work in the field of nanochemistry, she is just to defend her thesis. She is a renowned soft skill trainer, a communications coach, and has won a large number of awards for her oratory, especially in the humorous speech category, for her presentation in the Toastmasters International. Her interests include science policy and diplomacy, science writing, gender issues, and international relations, apart from her, exuberance and love for traveling, adventure, and fitness. Janice, on behalf of the college, on behalf of Government First Grade College, on behalf of all the teacher participants, I join my hands and say namaste to you, and I welcome you for this international webinar. So it's a huge ask, Janice, because usually this is a time for young India to show what they are made up of, and you are one among them. And it's over to you, Janice, for your keynote address on the topic, happiness is the key to life.
Thank you so much, sir. I would just like to check if my voice is audible before I start.
Yes, you are perfectly audible.
Thank you so much. You have kept the bar really high introducing me in this way. I just hope I make justice to whatever you introduce me as. Anyway, happiness is the key to life. What an amazing topic, because the key itself reminds us of two things. One, that a key can open doors. Now, when we are talking about opening doors, I would like all of you to remember two important things. Number one, the door does not open by itself. The key is in your hands, but the door has to be opened by you. Secondly, the right door has to be found, because any key does not work on any door. But what happens many times is that we tend to try opening the key on the wrong door. Either the key is wrong or the door is wrong, and we don't even bother to check. And we keep struggling at the wrong door, and then we go into desperation. Very often I like to narrate the story of a person who got married, and he had a lot of problems. Now, the ones who are married here will tell me that already married people have problems. Now, his problem was very different. This man had a problem that every time his wife wouldn't do anything that this man would say, he would say, "You don't know what I can do. I would become the chief of the Indian Army." This lady tolerated it for 1 month, 2 months. And every time he would say, "You don't know what I can do. I'll become the chief of the Indian Army." So what this woman did was, she went back and she asked his friends, at least was he present in the NCC when he was in school or college? This man was a businessman and he had not done anything close to becoming the chief of the Indian Army. But every time the same dialogue, "You don't know what I will do. I could have become the chief of the Indian Army." One fine day, she gave up. She said, "I'm going to ask him why he did not become the chief of the Indian Army." So therefore, she goes to her husband and she says, "You were so interested to become the chief of the Indian Army. Why didn't you even make an attempt? You didn't even apply for it." Then this man says, "No, you won't understand. There are a lot of problems." This lady says, "I'm your wife. You explain it to me. I will understand why you couldn't become the chief of the Indian Army." So the man starts. He says, "See, if I would apply to become a member of the army, then there would be two problems. Number one, either I would be selected or I would not be selected. If I'm not selected, there wouldn't be any problem. But if I'm selected, again, there would be two problems. Either they would call me for war or they would not call me for war. If they call me for war, If they don't call me for war, no problem. But if they call me for war, again, two problems. Either I would become a frontline soldier or a backline soldier. If I become a backline soldier, no problem. But if I become a frontline soldier, again, two problems. Either I'll be killed in the war or I'll be wounded in the war. If I'm wounded in the war, no problem. But if I'm killed in the war, again, two problems. Either they will cremate me or they will bury me. If they cremate me, no problem. If they bury me, again, two problems. Either a tree will grow on my grave or grass will grow on my grave. If grass grows on my grave, no problem. But if a tree grows on my grave, again, two problems. Either they will use that wood for firewood or they'll use it for paper. If they use it for firewood, no problem. If they use it for paper, again, two problems. Either they will make writing paper out of it or toilet paper out of it. If they make writing paper, no problem. But if they make toilet paper, again, two problems. Either a boy will use it or a girl will use it. If a boy uses, no problem. But if a girl uses, I will feel shy. So this is why this man did not join the army, because he would feel shy of a girl using the toilet paper after he would die. Very often this absurd kind of a connection is very relevant in our lives. We think of the end product even before we could even make an attempt. And this is why we are never happy, because we have not made that attempt to be happy. We have pre-decided that happiness is never going to come to us without even taking that step. Let's not be like that man who decided that he is going to feel shy after dying. Real problems have real solutions. If we have real problems, we will be able to find out a solution. It depends on our attempt to find the solution. Very often we come across people complaining. And many times you would realize that these people don't want to find the solution to their problem. It's just that they want to talk about their problems. And because of such problems, they are never happy. We are at a time when depression and suicide and all kinds of negativity is going around. And at this time, it is so apt that we have a session on happiness and that we realize that happiness is in our hands. So if you want to be happy, you can always be happy, no matter what the circumstance is. Let's look at history. Throughout civilization, man has made an attempt to be happy. Like if you look at it, let's say religion. How did the concept of religion come up? Because we wanted to be happy, so we wanted to have a concept that God is going to provide us happiness. But today you see the same religion is spreading so much of negativity. We have so much of hatred because of religion. What have we done to this concept of happiness? We have destroyed it the way we want. So again, it was in our hands to either do good out of religion or use it to spread hate. But we see more often the latter part of it, which is very sad. I think as individuals, if we realize that our entire goal of life is just to be happy, most of our problems would be solved. Forget about religion. We have all kinds of fancy ideas today. Like Coca-Cola came up with an advertisement saying opening happiness or open happiness. You have laughter clubs, you have happiness centers, you have something like Happy Umbrella, and all kinds of happiness concepts. The Delhi government last year came up with something called a happiness curriculum framework where students had to study how to be happy. Of course, the attempt is very good, but do you think happiness is a concept that can be ingrained into somebody else's mind? I really doubt. I feel happiness is something that should be exuberated by one person, by an individual, and it is left to that individual. And happiness, I believe, does not come from large things. It comes from very, very small incidents. Okay, very small incidents in everyday life where we can search for happiness. I'm sure all of you are able to find such little incidents. It's sad that today, India, which is such a diverse and multi-religious country, which should have been so happy. And if you look at the happiness index, the world has a happiness index. And if you look at the happiness index 2020, India ranks 144 out of 156 nations. Even our very close neighbor, Pakistan, is ranking 66. The happiest nation, if you see on the world, which is often considered to be the happiest nation, is not Singapore or US or Canada, none of these industrialized nations. It is our very close neighbor, Bhutan. This example very clearly shows us that it is not the materialistic pleasures that give us happiness. It's not achievement that gives us happiness. A country like Bhutan, which is landlocked, which is not a developed nation, is still managing to be so much happier than us, then there is something wrong with the way we are looking at happiness. If we have ranked so low in happiness index, it means it is time for us to introspect. We need to find a solution. Like John F. Kennedy once said, you can wake up somebody who's really sleeping, but can you wake up someone who's pretending to sleep? I don't think so. Very often, we pretend to sleep. We pretend to be sad. We pretend to have problems when problems are not real. Gandhiji said, nobody can hurt me without my permission. If you have to hurt somebody, that person has to give in to the criticism. If somebody comes to you and, hurls an abuse or says something, unless you react to it, unless you are affected by it, I don't think that process is complete. So very often this process of hurting others or feeling sad and, this entire concept of unhappiness is a two-sided process, because happiness begins with me. If I'm going to decide that I'm going to be happy no matter what the circumstances are, I don't think there can be any person on this planet who can take away the happiness. Circumstance might change, but still it is my choice to be happy. Okay, having said a little bit about this, I would like to present to you my takeaway on happiness. First of all, let's start with a small little exercise. This exercise is about us doing our most comfortable thing. Could I get a confirmation if my screen is visible?
Yes, Janice, your screen is visible.
Yes, thank you so much.
No, I think you have to share. Yes.
It's visible?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, happiness is the key to life. So let's start with what gives us utmost happiness, talking bad about the others. I think this is our most favorite pastime. So let's start with that exercise. Okay, let's start talking bad about another. Now I want you all to think about that one person who does not have any quotient of happiness. All of us have come across this one person who's always grumbling, trying to find fault in the other, trying to, try to make somebody else's life very, very difficult. Okay, I want you to think about this one person. Let's talk about that one person now. Ready? Okay. So therefore, this one person is in your mind, and probably this person looks like this. Even though it's a beautiful day, he's trying to piss people off. He's trying to be grumpy. And I believe it's okay to be sad. It's okay to have a difficult time. But it's not okay to be grumpy. It's not okay to spread negativity. So you're thinking about now this one person who's grumpy. Let's look at the characteristics. And I believe all of you will be able to relate what I'm telling now to the characteristics of that one grumpy person. Okay, so I call grumpy an acronym. We will start with G. What does G stand for? Of course, this person who is sad has to be greedy. And the reason he is sad is because he or she is so greedy that they don't even let go of their problems. Everything is what I need. Like this dog here in the picture is telling, I want another cookie. There are people who want everything for themselves. Not only the good things, even the problems they will keep for themselves, and they will never be happy. Okay, so that is to do with G, greedy. Second one, they're racist. Now, when I say racist, I'm not talking about just about people, differentiating between black and white or black and colored. We see racism all around for that matter. And the racist people are everywhere. Let's say, for example, patriarchy. Patriarchy is a kind of racism wherein you are not letting the other person or the other gender flourish as much as they would. Very often we look at stereotypes in society. When we are born without stereotypes. But, many times it's the society which tells us, don't talk to people of this religion, this kind of people are like this. The people of this state are like this. People who talk this language are like this. And very often all this gets ingrained in our minds that we are not able to love people the way we would otherwise. So racism is something which I believe is any act of, differentiating another person and telling that they are not as good as I am. And this is why we are not happy, because we try to underestimate the other person. We judge the person too fast, and we just, continue with our negativity. Okay, U stands for these people. Now, the same people who are very sad and very unhappy and complaining have an unending list of complaints. The biggest problem with us is we start blame game. And very often we don't want to accept that it is our fault. We go with an unending list of complaints. So So like I said, I came, I saw, I complained. So we will never see the good in the other person, or this particular person whom we are talking about right now never sees the good in the other person. They will only be complaining what the other person should have done. Okay, very interesting picture. And this was a picture which shows how clearly the media can manipulate, but very often we do manipulate the truth. Now, why am I talking about manipulating the truth? When I'm talking about manipulating the truth, I'm saying that we don't want to accept that it is our fault. Very, very often we blame the others. Like, look at this picture taken from two different angles. It means two different things altogether. The picture on the left tries to show that, Prince William is showing the middle finger, which means, that he's meaning something really bad. Whereas the picture on the right is the actual picture taken from the front, which can give you a totally different meaning altogether. Very often we manipulate the truth. We try to blame, and then we end up becoming sad. Let me give you a classic example of the Buddha. Okay, Buddha had two disciples, and these two disciples one day decided to cross the river. As they were walking, they just reached the bank of the river. They see a young woman who is struggling to walk across the river. So one of the disciples, he's the more famous one, he offers the girl help, and he says, "Should I help you cross the river?" This girl is not able to. He lifts the girl and takes her to the other side. The other monk who is there with him is shocked. He's shocked because one monk has lifted a girl. Now this monk is very angry. He tells him, "How can you do such a thing? How could you carry a girl to the other side of the bank?" And he's not at all happy. That man carries the girl. He leaves her there. She goes her way. The two of them come back to wherever they had to stay. Now in the ashram where they are staying, the man who carried the girl sleeps in peace. But the other man who was judgmental, who was talking all negative things as to how he could touch a girl, how he could carry a girl, does not get sleep at all. He wants to complain to the Buddha. He wants to prove that the other monk is wrong. He did something terribly wrong. So therefore, he waits for the Buddha to come. Now he sleeps at night. He tries to sleep. He does not get sleep. The next morning, he is up and awake to give his set of complaints about the other monk. When the Buddha comes to meet him, the man, before even greeting the Buddha, tells him, "Do you know this fellow carried the girl to the other side of the bank? It was a terrible thing." The Buddha quietly listens to the story and then tells him, "That man, the other monk, carried the girl and left her on the bank. What you did was you carried the girl in your thoughts throughout that evening, through the night, and you are still carrying her even now." How true is this statement? Very often we see somebody doing something and we pass our judgments, or we get upset about it, and then we are not at peace with ourselves. Who's at a loss? It's our peace of mind, which is taken for a toss. Well, the next one is P. And P, you would guess, they have to be pessimists if they have to be so bitter. So people who are grumpy, people who are sad, people who complain about their life are generally pessimists. And instead of making their life better, they often make their life bitter. If you look at this guy, probably the first sentence is, "I'm not sure if I'm bitter and pessimistic because I don't have a girlfriend." But probably the other way around is also true, that he does not have a girlfriend because he's bitter and pessimist. Very often we blame other people and say that I have become like this because of the other person. It could be, the truth that because of my behavior is not attracting somebody, or, my behavior is not being very social, that people have begun to keep me aloof. So let's introspect. It's very essential. And the last one, why, is the yes boss types. Now, what do I mean by the yes boss types? The yes boss types are those people who do not have a mind of their own. Anybody, anything says is okay. You will see such people very often today in social media, spreading so much of negativity without having any sense of, thinking. So you see somebody's posting something against a particular religion, or against a particular group, and if you like it, you just post it. Don't even worry about whether it's the truth. Don't bother to clarify if it's the truth or no. And such people have absolutely no mind of their own. This is where the problem starts. When people, without having a mind of their own, are able to, simply talk and then spread negativity. Well, this was my culmination of the word grumpy for you. So G stands for greedy, R for racist, U for unending list of complaints, M for manipulating the truth, P being a pessimist, and Y being the yes boss types. I'm sure all of us being here today are none of these. But let's be aware of certain characteristics of us that can put others off. Well, let's go to how we can be happy now that we have clarified how we can get rid of sadness. Let's turn to the happy side. Happiness is when what you say, what you think, and what you do are in harmony. And these are the words of none other than Gandhiji, the father of our nation. I believe it's very true. When what we think, what we do, and what we say, all three of them are in harmony. So let's look at the characteristics of happy people. Again, an acronym for you. First important thing about happiness is humor. I believe with humor, any problem can be solved. And very often, humor should be self-deprecating. Most of the times we're sad that there is something bad about us. There's, I may not be that tall, or I'm not so beautiful, or I'm this and I'm that. The best thing for us to do is make fun of our weakness. And when we do start making fun of our weaknesses, that weakness does not become a weakness anymore. It becomes a strength. By stature, I'm a very short person. And people who have seen me would know that I'm very short. So what I did was, when I had this Toastmaster speech contest that I had, and Manoj sir mentioned about me winning the humorous speech contest, I spoke about how short people live a life, and to such an extent that I exaggerated being short so much that I made it a joke that short people look up, and when they look up, they see the hair inside tall people's nose. So, it's not proud to be tall because somebody else is seeing the hair inside your nose. So this was something that, I managed to exaggerate to such an extent. Very often, we need to use humor in our lives. And I believe, we've become too serious with our lives that we're not enjoying it to the fullest. So H for humor, A for appreciation. Another very, very important characteristic of a happy person is our ability to appreciate. Now, in the Indian context, at least, we often see that people are appreciative of our actions, but they don't make that attempt to appreciate. Look back and think, when is it that you have appreciated somebody with all your heart, openly, giving out that appreciation? It's very much essential that we make that attempt to appreciate. Well, P for positivity, that is me, by the way. I just thought, let me take the forum to advertise myself. So positive vibes are very essential. This morning when I was sitting and preparing the presentation, there were two mosquitoes sitting on my leg, and I wanted to kill both those mosquitoes with one slap. So I made the attempt and I was successful, and both the mosquitoes died. And that instant gave me joy for just a few seconds. I believe we need to search for such small instances to keep us happy. And every day we come across very, very small instances. Let's keep ourselves happy and spread positivity. P, very important, to live in the present. If you're depressed, you live in the past. If you're anxious, you live in the future. But if you're at peace, you live in the present. Why? Yearn to learn. Okay? The capacity to learn is a gift. The ability to learn is a skill. And the willingness to learn is a choice. The reason many times we stop being happy is because we have stopped progressing. I believe happiness means progress. If you can't progress, you cannot be happy. And when you cannot be happy, you cannot spread that positivity to the world. Yeah. Okay. So before I conclude, I would like to tell you a few quotes. One, the most impressive one for me, of Steve Jobs, that he spoke about how he became very positive in his life. Steve Jobs one day came across a quote that said, "If today is the last day of your life, will you do what you're just about to do?" And Steve Jobs says, from that day onwards, he lived for 33 years after that. So he says, from that day on, for 33 years, every morning I look into the mirror and I ask myself, if today is the last day of my life, will I do what I'm just about to do? And if the answer is no, for 2 days in a row, then I know I have to change myself. I will conclude with the story of little Johnny. Little Johnny once went to his teacher holding a butterfly in his hand. And he asked the teacher, "Teacher, tell me, is this butterfly alive or dead?" He decided that if the teacher says alive, he will slowly kill it and then tell the teacher that it's dead. If the teacher says it's dead, he will leave it free. And in both cases, Johnny will be right, the teacher will be wrong. The wise teacher said, "Johnny, it's in your hands. If you want to let it free, you can." I want to tell all of you today, happiness is in your hands. If you want to be happy, you will always choose to be happy. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice. Janice, if you can stop sharing. You have done that.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Janice. It was really beautiful, and the listening to you was worth the time. The takeaway from your keynote address are two important words that we normally use it in our day-to-day conversation: grumpy and happy. And I think Johnny's story exactly suit the occasion. Dear participants, on whatever Janice mentioned right now, I would like to share one video. What she said, just I received on WhatsApp a video yesterday. I would like to just play that video for all of you all. So just have a look at it. Just a second, the video will be played. Stop. Officer. Okay. And I know.
Let's
Stop. Huh? Janice, can I see you live on screen?
Is my screen still shared?
Janice, can you have your back on screen?
Yes, surely. Yeah.
Yes. There is some technical problem with the video. I will play that video before we begin the next session. So once again, Janice, on behalf of all the teacher participants, on behalf of all my colleagues who are right here, I would like to say a big thank you to you for your time. And I know that you have to join, you are a participant in a webinar, that's an international webinar that's going on from, I believe, Portugal.
Warsaw. It's Warsaw, yeah, Poland.
So, once again, on behalf of everyone, a big thank you. Janice.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you for the opportunity. And I think it was a very romantic time with so many people staring at my face. I've never had so many people looking at me so much. So thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. And hope you have a great time. Thank you.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Janice. That leaves us with a smile on our faces. Thank you, Janice. So dear participants, I request you all to move out of the link. I will share another link for the next session. Please join us back at sharp 10. You can join us back at sharp 10:10 for our session that will start at 10:15. Mr. Charles Thompson from Australia will be joining us now in a couple of minutes. So I will send a message in our group. Only then you all join, because before the speaker joins, we have certain issues. So once the speaker has joined, then I will send a message saying that you can join. All right. So you can now go back and take a break for 5 minutes and rejoin maybe in a couple of minutes time after I send a message on WhatsApp group. All right. So thank you, dear friend.